Do you remember what it was like to get to know someone before the internet consumed our lives? Not talk at each other, but truly converse. Likes, dislikes, things of that nature. Phone calls and passing notes. Hell, if you were together, whispering in the back of a room. This movie, stars Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, directed by Nora Ephron. Three really great reasons to check it out. Despite being product placement for AOL and being a remake of a classic with Jimmy Stewart, not only does it predate internet, well, dating, but it romances it. It shows you what the internet could have been like before being send me some dick pics or ooh, you look great naked. This isn't Snapchat, it's not Tinder or JSwipe or Grinder. This is romance. And it was Valentine's Day weekend, so I figured Steve finally had to see one of my favorites. Welcome to Dead Cinema. I'm Brian Gillis.
And I'm Steven Maltmanex.
Like most people, we love going to the theater and catching the latest releases. However, sadly, put a big dent in your wallet.
Fortunately, living in the digital age makes the viewing possibilities endless from the comforts of home.
Many of these films that you can see right from your couch, we're ashamed to say we missed, despite labeling ourselves cinephiles.
So join us as one or both of us cross off a title from our list of shame.
It can be an all-time essential classic,
or an underrated piece of cinema that's worth giving a shot.
Hell, it might just be some trashy film we want the other's opinion on. So sit tight and join us as we pay off our debts, $1 at a time.
What's your favorite film?
Okay. I tell people it's Red Dawn, but in actuality, my favorite movie is You've Got Mail. No. You got Tom Hanks, you got Meg Ryan, you got a very likable Greg Kinnear. You think you're better than it. Ooh, this movie's gonna suck. Then you watch it, and it becomes a part of you. It's in you. We should watch it together, Lloyd.
I don't think I really want to do that.
Come on, Lloyd. We haven't hung out yet, man, and I always thought, I don't know if you thought it, but I always thought we should be the guys who were hanging out together. I thought we should be roommates here, because I think we're cooler than those guys.
All right, I'm in. Let's run it.
Oh, you've made a wise choice, my friend.
So, finally made you watch this movie. It's no surprise to anyone that listens to our show. I talk about rom-coms a lot. This is probably one of my favorite. It's really hard to pick a number one child. But yeah, what'd you think?
There is a shot in this movie, and it's of Tom Hanks reading Pride and Prejudice, and
and Colin Firth is on the cover.
And you got Meg Ryan's voiceover just going over how, she just loves it. She gets lost in the language and all, the little things in it. And he just gives up and begrudgingly sets the book down, but he has to continue reading it. That's pretty much my experience watching this.
You paused the movie, you left the room?
No. I mean, it's not terrible, but yeah, the first, I want to say half was really, really, really testing me.
Yeah, on my rewatch right now, the first half wasn't nearly as good as I remember.
It opens with,
but that second half though.
Yeah, no, I mean the second half.
Too, those first 10 minutes are amazing.
No, that commercial for AIM, are you kidding me?
No, it's not. It wasn't AIM yet. It was just
okay, AOL. But I mean, yeah, no, just oh my God, was it so tacked on? They turn on their computers and then they both mouth along with it. You've got mail.
It's funny because
it's like that long voiceover too of like, I turn on my computer. I wait impatiently as it connects. I go online and my breath catches my chest until I hear those three little words.
Hell yeah.
You've got mail. I've got mail. At the time of the release,
that was a very real thing.
I mean, no, that was very cheesy. That's like a very cheesy 90s commercial.
It's a fucking Nora Ephron movie. It's this is clearly AOL product placement, but at the time it was like everyone had AOL. They basically were a monopoly on the internet, and like I was trying to say, there isn't an equivalency now. There isn't one service that like everyone uses on the internet. I guess you could say Facebook, but even still, there isn't a catchphrase or something that lets you know you're on. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg was like, "We got you, fuckers."
No, but there's that connected. I don't know. They have poking. I guess that's a thing.
But no one does that. I'm just saying, like there isn't a catchphrase.
No. I know. I'm just trying to think of what the closest thing would be.
I mean, when you're updating a classic movie for the internet era, because this is like the beginning. This isn't a millennial story, but this is definitely one of the first famous movies about the internet and
And you
have
know what?
like
I do like that title sequence with the animation. I do think that holds up too, and it's still very true.
the
Like
real
to
cheesy.
today, though, to how we're
Well, I mean,
connected. I don't think it's that bad.
it would be Google Maps now.
Although
Okay, it would be Google Maps Street View. It'd look a lot nicer.
I do think the Greg Kinnear like line or introduction that just I don't know is supposed to like show some sort of phobia of how technology is progressing. That is way too tacked on.
So
Yeah.
soft. Yeah.
This
Well,
is
I
the
mean,
end of Western civilization. We can't play solitaire at work anymore.
Greg Kinnear in this whole movie is very tacked on.
Yeah.
But before we move on, you know that AOL bought Time Warner in 2000, right?
Hmm.
For a time period, there was like 2 years. When you saw a movie, it said an AOL Time Warner film. So let's say they made that decision like a year after this film came out.
This is 98?
98,
Yeah.
yeah. So I have to imagine that someone at AOL on the board, probably the whole board, mind you, was just like, "You seen that Tom Hanks Meg Ryan movie? Yeah, it wasn't as good as in Seattle. Yeah, but I loved it. Why don't we buy Time Warner and we make another one maybe? Maybe we make another AOL movie. How do you like the sound of that? Yeah, Jeeves, that sounds smart. Let's do one of those." It sadly didn't work. AOL kind of crumbled, and they're still around the internet, but not in the way that they once were. I just think it's funny that this is probably one of the most prevalent uses of, product placement, and the company bought the film studio, not just the film studio, but the conglomerate. A
Hmm.
couple years later. I think it's. I really wish someone released like a tell-all book about how that happened.
No, I mean there should be like some sort of making of or something that has
Yeah.
to that ties into that. I don't
Well,
know. I mean it's been long enough, yeah.
my DVD has I was watching a little bit. It's called Delivering You've Got Mail, and it's kind of like how the movie got made, and they go into. We've talked about this before, but this film is a remake. Well, first it was a play called like Parfumery, and then it became The Shop Around the Corner in 1940 with Jimmy Stewart. Then it
Which is
was,
a way better movie.
and it's different.
Oh,
It's a
wait.
lot different.
I don't know, way charming. I mean, the way that they reference it here, like literally
The,
naming the
the
shop around the corner,
It's cute, right?
way too tacked on. Like
No,
way
not
too tacked
even.
on.
Oh, well,
I mean,
okay, wait,
and
wait.
also there was the other. I think it's a reference, or I'm not sure with the old guy or the grandfather just going,
No,
"Oh, Cecilia,
no,
we
because
used to write letters." I mean, is
Jimmy's
that supposed to be a reference?
love interest name wasn't Cecilia.
I know,
Well,
like
no,
Jimmy
the Shop
Stewart
Around the Corner
died
took
a
place
year
in
before,
Budapest.
though. So I mean, I don't know what that was supposed to be.
That's just a thing. Like I said, that original movie takes place in Budapest during the Great Depression. So
I
I
think we
highly
had a
doubt
date once. Like, what was that?
just senility comedy. But yeah, so then it was made again as a musical, Judy Garland in 1950 something, in the good old summertime. And then you watched Pillow Talk a couple of weeks ago. It's also a very similar premise. So this is just a setup that works. You have these two people that don't know each other and they only correspond through love, and then yet they hate one another in the flesh, and it works out anyway. I think I don't know. I think I can admit, Groundhog Day is a better romance. It's a better rom-com. Hitch is a better rom-com. Hell, 10 Things I Hate About You, or like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. These are all better rom-coms. But there's something about this movie, even still with me not liking the first half as much as you didn't, maybe this watch, there's something special about it. Maybe it's the cover quote that says Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan should win a Nobel Prize for chemistry. Like it gets it. That's how you sell the DVD copies.
I can't figure of any other way to put this of why this movie is loved by so many people. And I mean, it's not. It's not just you. Like, it's not that thing of, oh, because it's a chick flick, like girls will dig it. It's like, no, there's a lot of guys that really, really love this movie. So I don't know, with me,
Tom Hanks is a guy's guy in this movie.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely charming on screen. I guess it really just depends with romance movies or romantic comedies in general, whether you're a romantic or a cynic. And I'm kind of half and half on that. It goes both ways. But yeah, just I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. I certainly
about
think
the
though that
cast,
second
though?
half is stronger though.
What about the cast? I sold you before
Dave
watching you that
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle is actually good in this movie. He's really funny. Like,
He's the black best friend. I mean, that's
Yeah?
a typical romantic comedy staple, and he's
But this
there
is
and
like-
he's funny as that. Yeah.
this is right before he blew up. I think this was the same
Yeah.
year as Half Baked. Like 1
Yeah.
or 2 years after The Nutty Professor. He might have been doing stand up in clubs, but he didn't have a special yet. He definitely wasn't on the Comedy Central. And I think that this might be the movie that he's best known for before his rise to fame. Like I think that this is the one that most Americans saw him in. He's not in it for much. He's like him and Greg Kinnear and Parker Posey, Chris Messina, who has like a bit role in a bookstore. Jane Addams is on the TV for a second. Like there's a great cast, but none of them really get the spotlight. It's just a two-person show here because it is a rom-com.
Most of them are like types like I don't know. Steve Zahn, what is he supposed to be? The kind of geeky, quiet book reading type of guy. Like, oh, the internet's just
Yeah.
another way for me to get rejected by a woman again.
I mean, he's just
Yeah.
he's I don't know. It's Steve Zahn. He's good in everything.
And
I
then
mean, this is only
I
like
don't
two
know.
years after that thing you do, so I'm sure Tom Hanks was like, "Yeah, you should do him. Yeah, I like directing him."
It is kind of insufferable now. I mean, hearing the dial up at the beginning after the custom studio
Come over.
logo, that there was something, I don't know, some sort of nostalgia factor there that I guess was kind of cool, but
Right?
the just the ways that they talk about the internet on this, I don't know, what was
It's a new thing at the
I know,
time.
but Kat, I don't know. The term cybersex is like, oh, I'm always getting a busy
Busy
signal.
signal.
Yeah,
Like, can
I'm
you
just
like
kind of
at the
like
time of this movie, this was so forward thinking. It was just in the era. Like it had its finger on the pulse. Like it, even though it is a
I
remake, and that's
understand
kind of
why it's
what.
there. I'm just saying it sounds way
Uh-huh.
too hokey for me.
I think people overlook this. Nora Ephron, rest in peace. Her career is kind of founded in remakes, basically, or appreciation of classics anyway. Like besides Sleeping in Seattle and When Harry Got, or not, I mean, besides When Harry Met Sally, Sleep in Seattle is basically a remake of An Affair to Remember. So much so that Meg Ryan literally watches the film in the film and talks about with her friends, "Oh, I love this movie. Let's meet on the top of the Empire State Building."
There's clearly no subtlety in referencing older movies. I mean, this is literally calling the store the shop around the corner.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like her career, or at least the biggest hits of her career, even at the end of her life, she did the Bewitched movie with Will Ferrell, and then her final film, Julie and Julie, which is actually kind of interesting. It's the first blog to become a movie.
Yeah, no, I saw it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like the Julia Child stuff a little bit more than the Julie stuff, but still, it's a good movie. It's a good one to go out on. I don't know. I don't think the romance is what I really love about this movie. I think it's everything that builds it. Like I said earlier, the idea that you fall in love through correspondence, through just writing with one another. I'm on Tinder. I'm not ashamed to say this, and I have yet to meet a single person. I just try to meet them through texting, basically,
Hmm.
kind of taking a hint from this movie, and it never
Well,
works.
it's
And
like that thing
I
that
do you
people are
remember?
honest through anonymity, although Tinder you use your name, I guess.
And
Yeah.
you see pictures, you know how
Yeah.
close you are. Did you ever? I'm sure you did. Do you remember early internet days chat rooms, especially on AOL, where you
Yeah.
just sign in for like some interest or whatever and talk?
No, yeah, I mean, it was never talking to strangers. It was more like that was how you talk to friends. Like,
No, no, like you never did the chat rooms, like especially on
oh,
Yahoo.
like when there's more than one person in the room?
No, no, I'm
No,
saying like in
never
this
with
movie, the
strangers,
way
no.
the way they meet cute was they were in a random internet chat room, and they say it at one point that it's like the over single and over 30 or something like that. And so they were just chatting amongst everyone, and they must have hit it off, and then they started personal messaging. You never did that?
No.
Oh wow. Like it was fun. Like just random. Everyone would be kind of saying something. Oh, I kind of like what they're saying, and then yeah, you could have like a sides. I'm surprised they never made this movie with online dating. Like there's movies that have it part of the structure. Like in 40-Year-Old Virgin, there's that whole section about meeting the people, or shit. There's something else.
No,
Uh,
like I mean, it is prevalent in movies now, but yeah, no, I guess I think I'm getting what you mean that there wasn't anything that where that was the hook, right?
yeah. Or like, cause like I Love You Man, when Ant-Man's looking for a best friend, Paul Rudd's looking for someone.
Hmm.
He gets that old guy. He's like, "Wow, you're really good at the internet." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not bad." But you'd think that it would be a thing. But I like this is more than a love story. Like I was trying to say, like it does have that great thing I like about the falling in love through writing, because how often in a rom-com do the two characters fall for each other before the movie even starts? That's rare. But there's like a pretty good message about capitalism and like putting the little guy out of
And
business.
just how things evolve, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it is really kind of like a bittersweet thing. Yeah, and I think it works real well.
There's that real great "We Are the Modern American Family," where it's like
What
Tom
is
Hanks with his
that is
this
weird. Yeah.
with his aunt and his younger brother.
I know that exists. It's just, well, why is, well, whatever. I don't know.
It's the
It,
Upper
it
East
it it
Side. I
felt
mean,
like a
Upper
weird
West Side
joke,
rather.
honestly.
The whole movie's kind of
There
weird.
there is
Okay, like
really weird humor there, but like, and it's that is not really a mark against it though. I think it works. Like,
this
especially
movie
that TV
quotes.
interview with Greg Kinnear and
Yeah, Shane
yeah,
Adams.
yeah.
Yeah, very bizarre. But like this movie references The Godfather like two different times. Not like a quote, a literal conversation. Like they converse in a rom-com about the merits of The Godfather.
And how there's life lessons found in
Yeah.
The Godfather. I like
Monday,
that
Tuesday,
stuff, but
Thursday, Wednesday.
I like that stuff, but it's weird.
It is weird. I think the charm of this movie is that it's not perfect. Like it's kind of all over the place, and maybe that in part that means it's uneven. Because like I said, rewatching, I definitely like the first 10 minutes are really really good. The last 10 minutes are really really good, and then there's peaks and valleys in between. But then again, it's a 2 hour rom. Well, it's more of a drom-com. It's not super comedic.
For me, I'd say the first 10 minutes are really tacked on commercial, but the last 10 minutes though are really really good. I mean, it's not till
Heartwarming, isn't it?
really, I think,
When she
like,
brings the flowers when she's sick.
no, it's not until like 90 minutes into the movie where it just feels like a much more smaller, much more intimate just movie where they just talk and you just see them get along more and more. And although it's, it's kind of fucked up because at the same time he is manipulating the situation.
Yeah. Jimmy Stewart does the same thing in The Shop Around the
I
Corner.
need to
Like in
see it
all of these,
again,
in Pillow
honestly.
Talk, you just saw Pillow
Yeah, I
Talk.
know.
Like
And I saw,
Rock Hudson does the same thing. They
yeah, but
find out who the
except that
woman
was
is.
not supposed to be. Well, I don't know if that was supposed to
It's
be charming.
similar.
Whatever. Yeah.
It
Here though,
definitely
it's clearly
similar.
clearly we're supposed to be moved by it. Like we like Tom Hanks, so it's clearly it's something that we want to see happen.
I would argue that this is a Meg Ryan movie, though. I mean, it's produced by a woman, written by a team of female screenwriters, directed by a woman. I would argue that it stars Meg Ryan. Like it's her movie, and Tom Hanks is the one you're falling for with her because she has the opening monologue. A lot of the scenes are kind of from her when like they go back and forth, but she has
Yeah.
the ones that are stronger. Like it's not about business and books, and he might be doing this Machiavellian thing on the side and taking advantage of her loss of love or whatever. But
I
it seems like her movie to me.
I don't know. I do think it's more of a dual protagonist movie because I mean they both have their journey. She's clearly having the difficult time of her store going under, but you see him like on the side not really feeling good about it. I feel like there's equal play, honestly. At least that's the impression I get.
I mean, Tom Hanks at the beginning of this movie is opening a bookstore. At the end of it, he's opened it. Whereas Meg Ryan,
Yeah, I mean they have
she at the
completely separate
beginning is the
journeys.
owner of the store. It closes, and now she's writing a novel, and she's moving on with life, trying to make bigger and bigger things. And he's kind of stuck where he is with his yacht and Brinkley. I don't know. It doesn't make me like it less, but I think that this is a quintessential New York story, and that's kind of, I guess you could use that descriptor for all of Nora Ephron movies. But yeah, it's special. I've actually bought this movie twice. The first time I found it, it was like my parents got like a box of DVDs from like a rental store that went under or something. I think Bewitched was also in that box, coincidentally. But yeah, this was in there with like one of the old DVD cases with the snap-off cover and the cardboard like
Jesus.
insert. Exactly. And so I
It
like
has like
met
the
this girl
flip
in
discs, one
college.
that's full screen, one that's widescreen.
It didn't have that. One
Oh.
side was full screen, and I mean, one side was widescreen. I think the other side was special features. But it definitely had the chapter selection thing on the inside and all of that. So yeah, I met this girl in college, and we had like a meet cute. We also corresponded through email. We had a class together, but like that's the primary route that we took to talk to one another. She didn't have Facebook, and so we got to know each other more so over the internet than we did in person. I would guess, kinda. And so like we kind of went on a date. We were going to go on another one, and I let her borrow You Got Mail. I was being cute. I was like, I think you're gonna really like this. This is about two characters that fall in love through email or whatever. So something happened. I still don't know. This happens a lot in my life. But she stopped talking to me. She never gave me my movie back. And I had to go out and buy another copy of this movie. I spent like $5. It's definitely worth the money. If you can't tell, I'd definitely buy this for $1. I'd buy that for $1. And this is like one of the only movies I've ever bought more than once. And I'm proud to have it in my collection. I do
I mean, that's
wish I
not
had a
really a
4K
double dip.
Blu-ray
That's
though.
more of a replacement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I watching this, I was like, I wish I had a Blu-ray right now. Like the up conversion on my PS4 wasn't quite good enough. Like it looked like I was watching a VHS copy almost. So yeah, what's your bottom dollar on this movie? What do you think? I know you didn't
Uh,
like the beginning. It was kind of weird, and the first half wasn't your thing. But
I
give the audience your critique.
I think overall it's good. I mean, it's definitely it's not like anything else, but
Hmm?
I don't know if there's I would imagine that some people could definitely be put off by this, and I mean I was definitely I wasn't groaning, but I was just kind of shaking my head throughout at some things and just going, oh man, like I don't know. It wasn't an experience that I was suffering through or anything.
So
And I
you don't regret it,
no
in
no
other
no
words.
I don't. I think I don't know how to put it. I mean, it's let me just put well. If I was with a girl and like she wanted to sit down and watch the movie, then I wouldn't object. That's
That's
really the
good
best
enough
thing.
for
Yeah.
me. I mean, I hope if I'm dating a girl and I put this on, she doesn't object.
You hope
I
that
just
she
think that
doesn't.
it's.
You hope that she
I'm,
doesn't steal it.
oh yeah, that too. Again,
That's probably what
um,
happened. Yes, I got his copy of You've Got
yes,
Mail.
you'll never be able to show it to someone
I
else
just took a
again.
bit of his soul away.
I think that this is a really great time capsule of New York at the turn of the century. It really captures a part of American culture that isn't on film. Like you have this. What about the internet? You have romance through a new medium. You have this like thing of old where you actually send letters to one another. It's not dick Snapchats or anything like that. Like you're not sexting. It's old fashioned. It's feel good, and it just kind of makes you want to read a book. And I think that's the best kind of company you can get. After watching this, you think you're gonna watch Sleep in Seattle or versus Volcano now?
Not by choice, I don't think.
The first one, their first pairing is really good. I think you'll like it. It isn't, I wouldn't use rom-com to describe it. It's really bleak. It's like Sleep is in Seattle isn't my kind of movie. It's really weird. I'm not gonna ruin it here, but
Well, you just said
Meg,
unfair to remember, so I mean,
yeah,
I
but
kind of get
Meg
the point.
Ryan basically listens
I'm
to an
assuming that they make out on top of the Seattle Needle. I'm assuming.
it's Empire State Building, but
Oh well, it said
they
it's Seattle though.
you'll watch it.
All
You'll
right.
figure it out someday. Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure. If you like this show and you want to hear more of our wonderful voices on a weekly basis, check out 2 Cents. I'll recap what's happened in film, TV, and tech news.
We're also on the titular Dollar Review Show, a spoiler-free critique of new releases or anything we've discovered on our own, whether that be TV, music, etc.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
We're available on iTunes, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, and constantly looking to expand to other platforms.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Death to Cinema request, or even if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis. That's BryonGillis. And now you know how to spell the email too. And also under the same name on the lovely site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary where I rate films I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at s_mtx, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name where I log everything I watch and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time, keep the change.